We can, if she doesn't come back, I'll initiate a refund.
Absolutely, you will.
Uh, and we'll go live
She
on
could
the
have been
YouTube.
intimidated. Some of those names I gave you were pretty fucking funny. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
She said, I can't compete with Anna Partridge Pear Tree."
Right.
Or the Italian woman who changed her name to a German name so that what she did for a living could be disguised.
Oh.
Yeah, her name is Greta Cheese.
Boom. Thank you.
Bang, bang, boom. And I also knew one. I wasn't going to do it while she was in here. I'm glad we walked the room in this case because Tiny Tits McGee. She was a 32 special with a quick trigger.
Hello. Thank you.
Wow.
And then there was Chlamydia Carrier. I always liked her a little too much, if you know what I mean.
Right. They got a shot that cures that.
Not anymore. They don't. Not since the pandemic.
If we've already walked the customer, then it must be time for us to be live on YouTube.
There we go. my last name was Bertha Bottom. She's never on top. Never.
Wow. I've dated her. And you're looking at what we call the Mike Langworthy Theater. Heart
in my
of the
hey, Chuck, when you're wearing a wig, you are her. What are you talking about?
My co-host tonight will be the beautiful, forgetful Wanda Who Dat Is.
Hi. So
there's a great TV show. I'm sorry, a great radio show in England that's been on since 1972, I think, 78 maybe, called I'm Sorry, I Haven't a Clue. If you haven't seen it, go on YouTube and watch. They have several just radio shows with no video, but they also have some video of them doing the show. And all of the people who started the show were literally comedy royalty in England, and they decided at one point in the mid 70s to go in and tell the BBC they'd like to do a show where they don't do anything. And that's how they sold it, because they were so hot at the time. So what they do is they have all of these games that you can't possibly play properly, so they just fuck around for a half hour, and it's hilarious. I know I've undersold it. I can tell you that. And the host of the show is a famous jazz musician in England. Well, in the jazz world, period. But if you ever saw or heard any audio of London when the Victory in Europe announcement was made, there's somebody playing a trumpet in the background, and it's the guy who is the host of that show, who was at the time just a guy in the service. But anyway, they do jokes where they make puns like this all the time.
Yeah. Can't believe we walked the crowd.
We lost the audience.
You know what? That person wouldn't be a crowd if we did the show in what they used to call phone booths.
Right. Thank you.
She'd be comfortably snug in one, perhaps, but certainly not. Whatever. Anyway, Danny.
Yes.
You're undoubtedly wondering what the fuck is going on here, and I don't blame you. You'll just have to take it on faith that many nights there's 12 to 15 comics in this room that are having a wonderful time, and I'm the low point of the show, and well, still be the low point of the show, but I won't have to compete as hard for the gig.
You say that like we're not having a wonderful time now. I don't get that.
Well, Danny hasn't been on the show before, so he's, the other people have, and they sort of know what to expect. He's saying, how am I going to get, what am I going to do? Usually we give people 5 minutes, at 4, I give them a light or something like that, but who are we fucking kidding? You know what I mean? I'm going to put you on first, Danny. Since there's no crowd to be warmed up, I don't think there's any problem. And if you go a few minutes over, if you're ready to just do 5 and that's it, that's fine. And if you want to go a couple of minutes over, go ahead. If it starts to get ridiculous, I'll let you know, but I doubt that it will. You look like a responsible human being to me.
Oh my God. Thank you.
And
Danny,
you're
you
very
go first
welcome.
in case you wanted to leave
How-
early.
How wrong are we on that assessment, Danny?
On what?
How wrong are we on the assessment that you're a normal human being?
Oh,
And
normal
or
is sitting on a
responsible.
washing machine. It doesn't apply to humans at all.
Right.
There you go. Bam, bam.
All
I
right.
like you already.
I know a lot of girls who are normally sitting on a washing machine.
Hello.
Hello.
That's where they get their menstrual cycle? No.
Oh no.
No, that's
Because a
the
guy's dick
color.
don't vibrate.
it's the colored cycle.
Oh gosh.
Whoa.
Wait a minute. We're
I'm
talking
in a-
washing machine here.
All right.
Jesus
I
Christ.
just came
Red,
off of
green,
work-
blue, colors.
I'm in
just
a
came-
variety of trainings that say I shouldn't say those things.
I just came off of work in the weekend for SNCC's 60th anniversary. So I'm all
Really?
civil rights stuff.
Seriously?
man. Yeah.
That's great. Just remember what the N stands for when I make remarks like that. So anyway, Danny, rather, I was just going to tell this one joke about how, people say I don't have children. We don't have children. We have dogs. And it's like, they just don't get that. They're unclear on the concept. That's like saying, I don't have children, but 3 is different than red. And or maybe a little more specific would be, I don't have children. I have dogs.
Oh no.
And no. Well, the joke is I don't have children. The joke is I don't have children. I have dogs.
Yeah, those people.
Because I could never love anything that potentially could say no to me at some point. So there you go. Anyway, I'm still working on it. Anyway, Danny, where are you from? Well, you know what? I'm not even going to ask you where you're from. I'm just going to say, come on, take your time, do what you want, enjoy yourself. If I interrupt you, I apologize in advance.
But it says yo. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
That's your line.
But I've actually done this before. This isn't my first day doing stand-up comedy.
We've even had longer introductions.
It's true, we have. Danny Bazongas,
Thank
gentlemen
you.
and gentlemen.
Danny.
Hey.
Hey, Danny Bazongas, brought to you by Chi-Chi's Salsa. Bazongas and Chi-Chi's, what a pair.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually pitch Chi-Chi's Salsa, that pitch. I'm going to try, but the cool thing about that, I'll either end up with an endorsement or a cease and desist order. So I'm happy either way, man.
Good either way.
Yeah. So I am in Portland, Connecticut. Yeah, not even a cool Portland. Not like we don't have like lobsters or legalized cocaine. We have a hockey team that was defunct 20 years ago. That's what we got. That's what we got. So anybody ever like just be so messed up or just so out of it that you put your ATM pin into the microwave?
Wow.
Yeah. Who knew that insufficient funds will cook a hot pocket? I didn't know. I was kind of messed up a little bit like that. I was not thinking when I swiped my card at CVS and it said, "Is this the correct amount?" Yes/C for Spanish. And then no. I'm like, well, if you're going to go through the trouble of translating yes into Spanish, why didn't you translate no into Spanish too? So like, I agree with the dog saying I don't have kids. I'm actually about to be a grandfather, which is weird because I'm going to adopt grandkids, eliminate the middleman. It's going to be badass. Everybody I know loves their grandkids. Their kids suck, and if you don't have kids, you'll be hated by 2 generations. So I do have cats, and I know they're not like real kids because my 15-year-old doesn't tell me how much I suck. In fact, a woman brought a little dog into my work the other day, and I said, "That's a cute dog. What kind of dog is that?" She said, "It's a Shih Tzu poodle." It's like, oh, come on. You got a Shih Tzu and you won't even say it? God damn it. That is a comedic gold dog right there. I would love to have a shit poo. I would tell people. I would tell people that didn't even want to know. Like walk into McDonald's, may take your order. Hey, I got a shit poo. What's up, Danny? Another Big Mac and a Diet Coke? Yeah, you know me. Check this out, man. Someone the other day told me I look like Louis C.K., man. That fucked me up, man. I had to quit jerking off in my hotel room and everything. So, anybody believe in ghosts? Anybody? I don't buy this whole ghost thing at all, man. Because you never know. You don't notice. You never see any gay ghosts. There's none. I mean, what happens to gay people when they pass? They don't become ghosts. Come on, man. It's like you don't see no ghost just floating down the hall, boo, and rearranging your furniture, man. That would be so awesome to have. If you're gonna have a ghost, have a gay ghost. Or you know what? You never see all the ghosts you see are always from like 200 years ago. There's no like 1970s ghosts. There's no ghosts with bell bottoms and Led Zeppelin shirts walking around, dangling wallet chains and shit. None of that. So I don't buy that whole ghost thing. I have a superpower. My superpower is dyslexia. My superpower will transform basic into bacon.
Really?
It will also turn a caps lock into a cock slap. Anybody have like
Danny, may I
friends
introduce you to Chuck Roy? Go ahead.
Anybody got like a friend that when you try to do something to better yourself, they make it about them? Like if you say, "Hey, I'm gonna quit drinking," and they say, "Good, more beer for me," or you're gonna become a vegetarian. Good, more meat for me. Or if you tell them you're gay, good, more pussy for me. Dude, there's gonna be more dick for both of us. Come on, man. I saw you looking at me, man. I know how this goes. It's messed up. Every time I press my brake pedal, this light comes on, ABS. It's like, even my car's giving me shit about going to the gym now. Like, you work on that part, dude. Abs. Fucking who knew? I do like to play a lot of video games, but a lot of people like to burn me and say that like I live in my mom's basement because I play a lot of video games. Well, they don't know my mother's trailer doesn't have a basement. So
Hello.
I want to start a delivery service for prostitutes. We'll call it Hordash. And I want to work something out with DoorDash so like the prostitute will come with the sandwich already ready.
Hello.
There you go.
So I went to a baking website and it read, "Do you accept all cookies?" Like, well, yeah, I accept all cookies. That's why I want to bake the website, man. Come on. I got to accept all the pies and cakes and brownies. I am an equal opportunity carb lover. It's like, do I accept all cookies? What is there, racist cookies now? Come on. Leave my cookies alone, man. I accept them all. And if anybody does that keto shit, well, you know what? Good, more pie for me. And on top of doing wonderful Zoom mics, I am also a baseball umpire. I've been working 14 years doing Little League through high school games, and I've never been heckled as bad as a comedian as I have as an umpire. Now, I've got some good ones, man. Some guy held up his phone and said, "Yo, Blue, is this your phone?" It says 3 missed calls. Ha!
Hello.
Hello.
I ejected his kid and everything, man. It was I ejected him. But what's crazy is I had one really serious game between Portland and our crosstown rivals, Colchester. Anyone? Colchester? Nah.
Yeah.
But Colchester won fair and square, and since I was calling the game, the parents of Portland told their kids that I was the reason that they didn't get to go to Dairy Queen. Yeah. Right.
Wow.
So you know what I did, man? I went to Dairy Queen. There was nobody there, man. Man, I tell you, Colchester eventually come
Well, you're
around.
supposed to say more ice cream for me.
Victory, right? Sprinkles are for winners. So I just received a black belt in macrame. I mean, I can't kick your ass, but I'll hang your plants. Would be really, I think is really cool. Have a black belt in would be that hibachi chef. You know those guys that fucking do all that shit with the knives and make the food flip everywhere. These guys are amazing. That takes more dedication. It takes some dedication. That takes years and years. You can't just throw an egg in the air, catch it on the end of a spatula, and just let it run down. That takes time. And then you got to have a black belt in that shit. I can picture like this monastery in Japan where they're training all the people to do the shit on the grills and shit. And like when you graduate, you're like, oh, you are ready to go out in the world. I'm going to Davenport, Iowa, Benihana's. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, how's that for time on that? How am I doing?
That was like 6.5 minutes. Man.
Okay, thank you. That's
You
my
did
time.
nicely.
Good, less time for us.
Yeah.
I'm going to Dairy Queen. Less ice cream for you, too.
Alan, give him that joke again. I know you put it in the chat, but
Yeah, this is for you, Danny. But you missed the punchline there when you said you went to Dairy Queen by yourself because the kids didn't get to go. It should be good. More ice cream for me.
All right, cool tagline. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no, definitely.
right. It's the Open Mic Comedy Show brought to you by More Zing.
More zing for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, yeah.
Thank you, Danny.
I would almost like you to leave now that your set is over, Danny. So that this day can be just a little sadder for me. But otherwise,
Right. Please stay.
Stick around while the rest of our capacious crowd.
Oh, now I got to look that up. God damn it. Just stop that like capacious. Let's
Big,
see.
large.
Oh, okay.
Containing a lot. Huge. Having much area to fill.
Yeah, capacious.
Okay, this is great.
That's probably
maybe
the word of
do
it.
time. Maybe Chuck. We never get to do any stand up on this show ourselves.
Right.
I mean, and I write, so at least one of us, would have something to say. Anyway, Alan came in before Chipp, and we really, really don't need to like worry about egos with who's getting what time when you have 3 people on the show. This has never happened to us, has it, Chuck?
Once before, just once.
Oh, Paul Maddox showed up.
I think Bruce came in before me too, didn't he?
So yeah, we have
Either way,
Chipp,
I mean,
Alan,
what?
Bruce.
Doesn't matter.
Paula.
It doesn't matter.
Well,
I'm here for the
No,
duration.
Alan was here before both of you,
Right.
but okay. Now let whatever.
I logged in at 2:00 this afternoon.
Oh.
I'm black. I'm used to going last. Don't worry.
Good. More time for me. All right. So here's the deal, Alan.
Okay.
I want off in 5 minutes. Please welcome.
Well, you're gonna have to work hard on that.
That's
Mike.
what you said last night. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Hello, ladies. Ladies.
Hello, lady.
All right. This is man. He's married to famous fashion model, and she's a high fashion model with low morals. Her name is Natalie Drest, and Alan's married to her, and he's going to perform for us tonight.
What?
Alan. Woohoo!
Oh, I didn't know that was my intro. Sorry.
No, that's it. Well, Chuck continued to. We have nobody to speak of to perform this evening. Everybody who's here is wonderful and everything, but in numbers. But he still made me stop before I was done with all my names. So I'm just going to throw him into everybody's intro.
Oh.
So go ahead. You're
all
up.
right. Here you go. Thank you. Well, I made a huge mistake this week. I went on the internet. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I've been trying to stay off, and I went on Twitter and I actually read someone's Twitter. That obviously because I have no life. And there was a woman on there who was a nurse, and she said that it's really tough right now because people are really nasty to them. And she says people are constantly calling her a bitch. I thought, wow, why would you ever call the person that's taking care of you a bitch? That makes no sense. If I were a nurse and you called me that, I'd be like, really? You just called me a bitch? Well, guess what? I don't know what your ailment is, but the cure is a double-fisted enema. That's right. You're my bitch. I can't believe people would actually do that. But, I've noticed the internet is just getting worse and worse. That people are, and this just drives me crazy. They'll make sexist and racist comments online, and then they'll put a smile emoji at the end of it, like that somehow makes it better. I'm like, wow, really? That's why when my daughter was 12, I sat her down, I gave her the talk. I said, Maddie, you can have all the illicit sex you want, take all the illicit drugs you want, just stay the fuck off the internet. But of course, she didn't listen to anything I said. But racism is just getting worse and worse. And but because there's always that one person who draws a line in the sand. He goes, "Listen, nobody's going to tell me how to talk, because I always call a spade a spade." And I always take that person aside and go, "Listen, you keep talking like that, and eventually your white life won't matter."
All right.
I now one of my day jobs is as well as being a famous comedian and actor, I do caricatures at parties. And this college woman sat down. I was doing a college. She sat down to get her caricature done. She happened to be black, and after I finished, she goes, "Oh my God, you're a racist! Look at this drawing. It looks like it's from out of the Jim Crow era." I said, "Wait a minute." I said, "These are caricatures. Everybody has exaggerated features. You can't call me a racist. I don't see color." I went, "Oh, damn it. You tricked me into saying that." She ran off laughing. I was like, damn it. Because, you're not supposed to say that anymore. I don't see color. The only time you're allowed to say that is when if your father somehow decides he doesn't want you to be an airline pilot, then you're allowed to turn him and say, I don't see color. And he goes, "Oh, well, that means you can't be a pilot because you're colorblind." I know, that's why I told you. But that's why I love New York City, because we are a melting pot. We're what they call a tossed salad. Like I used to work for a guy who was Hungarian. This guy was the sweetest man in the world, except if you came in late. He actually threatened to kill me one time. He was like, Alan, if you ever come to work 5 minutes late again, I would kill you. It's like, dude, relax. What happens if I'm 10 minutes late? Then I kill your whole family. What happens if I'm 5 minutes early? Then I kill myself. All right, I picked door number 3. And I can't stand people that don't speak English. Now, I don't mean I don't mean like the French.
That's for
like the French or the Spanish. Well, the French I never liked anyway. But no, I mean, if somebody's in a job where they have to speak English, and like for instance, recently I got lost and my GPS wasn't working, and I pulled into a gas station, and you expect them to speak English so they can give you directions. I was like, "Excuse me, sir, can you tell me how to go?" "Look, I don't know." It's like, "Excuse me?" "Look, I don't know." It's like, I haven't even finished my sentence. "Look, whatever you're going to tell me, whatever you're going to ask me, I don't know." I was like, "Okay, well, how about if I give it $50? Do you know the capital of Idaho?" "Yes, it's Boise. Thank you." And he walked away. So. I don't know what was going on there.
That'll teach him.
And neither do you, obviously. But I love going to my grandfather's farm in Kentucky. I always loved that because there was a little kid there who didn't speak any. Well, he spoke English. You could never understand what the hell he was talking about. He was like, "Well, first run over and get Jake back here." I was like, I didn't know what he was saying, so I just laughed. "That's a good one, Dilbert." Then all of a sudden, his big brother shows up. "What you laughing at, boy? My brother just told you his dog died. You think that's funny?" I didn't know what to do, so I just imitated Dilbert. "Well, no, first run over and got chainsaw." I was like, "Oh, your dog died too. Sorry." Thank you, Mike.
No, I'm tickled.
Now, my family is from the South. They were all Southern Baptists, very religious, and eating dinner with them was torture. Because normally my family doesn't talk, but when we were eating dinner, my dad would suddenly go into these marathon prayers. "Lord, help the starving people in China. Help the starving people in Inner Mongolia, which is now an autonomous state of China." I'm like, Jesus Christ, Dad. I don't want a geography lesson. I just want to eat. I'm starving. That's why I always invited my best friend Jerry to say the prayer, because he would always do the joke prayer. So, it's like, "Hey, good food, good meat, good God, let's eat." And my father would smack the crap out of me. Like, "Dad, what'd you hit me for?" Like, "Well, I couldn't reach Jerry." And my dad was constantly hitting me at the dinner table too, which drove me crazy. Just out of nowhere, he just reached over and just smacked the crap out of me. Like, "Dad, what'd you hit me for?" It's like, "Well, general principles." Like, "Well, could you tell the general to stop hitting me with his high school ring? I got class of 44 stamped on the back of my forehead." My friend's constantly coming up trying to read it, and it's backwards. So they're like, "Yes, sir. What's up? Yes, sir." But I love my mom was a cute, a very soft spoken Kentuckian, and she had this lovely singing voice, and she would always sing at the dinner table. It's like, some enchanted evening, we will all eat dinner. And I would always applaud her, like, oh, Mom, you always sound like a Robin Redbreast. Like, Alan, don't say breast at the dinner table. Go to your room. It's like, well, I was going to say Tit Willow. Oh, that's even worse. Go. But that's why I married someone the total opposite of my wife, of my family. My wife was Jewish, and I wanted somebody the total opposite of Southern Baptist. And the best thing about being married to a Jewish woman is you never have to worry about getting mugged, because my wife always sounds like a siren. She's behind me whining the entire time and like, wait for me. Bad for guys in factories. They think it's lunch, they punch out, you know. And I can never win an argument with my wife because she always says the same thing. You know, don't make the face. Don't make the face when I'm talking to you. So that's why I was making a about face and get the hell out of there. But my therapist, who was sounded like an alcoholic because she was one, actually pegged my wife perfectly. She said, when your wife yells at you, it just means the bullets aren't real. It's like, wow, that's amazing. What the fuck does that mean? It's like, well, that means that when your wife has a vocal gun and she shoots you, they're Jewish bullets. I was like, what the hell is a Jewish bullet? So I had to figure it out by myself. I think a Jewish bullet is when someone shoots the gun and the bullets hit you. Instead of perforating your skin, they just sit there and irritate you for half an hour. Yeah, I'm a Jewish bullet. Anyway, I should probably get out of here. Let me. I watch a lot of TV, and I grew up watching. I'm of the boob tube generation. I used to watch cartoons all the time, and I discovered like Popeye. What a total pervert! Constantly making lewd comments to Olive, like, "Well, blow me down." I watched the Three Stooges. I wasn't allowed to watch the Three Stooges. My father would beat the crap out of me. Son, how many times have I told you not to watch those Stooges? They're too dead gum violent. Lesson learned there, Dad. Now all I watch is those 1950s educational films on YouTube. You ever watch those things? It's like they had the one announcer who did all the films, and everything was a scare. Communists, the Red Scare. Homosexuals, the Pink Scare. How come they never had a Caucasian scare? I guess that's because they were the ones making all the films. Black Lives Matter should have made the Caucasian scare, you know. The Caucasians, the white scare. Because once you go white, you'll never be able to rhyme. That's the end of the film. Good night.
I think there were plenty of white scare movies. We just weren't the target audience.
We just didn't know it, right?
We were doing the scaring.
Right.
It had to be somebody who was the object of it.
Haven't you ever seen the Republican National Convention?
Oh, well.
There you go.
No, I never thought of that. No.
Oh, you idiot. So, is that it for now, or did you
Yeah,
have
that's
another-
it.
No,
Nothing.
I mean, it's very informal tonight. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Colorado, the Colorado scare. They interrupt you
right.
constantly.
by special
With avalanches.
Comedy on the casual.
request of Chipp Jones, Bruce Lipsky's next. So
Hey.
go for it, Bruce.
Okay. I failed to mention before that I actually I dated one of the dames from one of the movies, a French woman.
Really?
Yeah, she had irritable bowel syndrome. Her name was Toulouse-Lautrec.
Oh no.
Yeah. Poop scare.
Yeah. And Danny, you were talking about ghosts and stuff. You know, I have a friend who actually lives in Dallas, and he just recently bought a 150-year-old mansion, and he thinks it's really haunted. So I said to him, "You need a medium." He said, "Hey, this is Texas. I think I need an extra large."
Hello.
Ba-dum-bum. You also talked about baseball. I mean, my son played baseball for a high school team. He was really, yeah, it's the worst manager there. Every time my son stole second base, he had him arrested. It gets worse. It gets worse. You know, I talked about my wife doing a lot of shopping.
Did you know baseball teams in Texas don't have catchers because nobody will wear a mask?
Hello.
They
So, I'm sorry.
They wound up catching something else, though.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead.
That's okay. It's no problem at all. I think I tell you, my wife does a lot of shopping. She came home the other day with a box of Uncle Ben's converted rice. So I asked her, you know, how do they convert it? Do they bring it to a moil? She said, no, they bring it to a boil. Oh boy. Oh boy. You know, somebody was talking about dogs earlier. You know, we had a cat for 23 years, and after the cat passed away, my wife decided she wants to get a dog, but she couldn't get a regular dog. She got one of those designer dogs. Spent $6,000 on this thing, and she carries this thing around like a Gucci handbag. Except the Gucci handbag only costs $3,000, and it doesn't need to be walked 6 times a day.
Right.
And I said to her, "How can you spend $6,000 on a dog?" She said, "Well, he has his papers. Papers. The only papers I've seen, the ones he's been peeing on. I've been picking them up." I don't know if you ever, bought a dog from a breeder, but they ask hundreds of questions. Financial records, arrest records. I said, "Am I buying a dog? Am I being interviewed by the CIA?" I got vetted before this dog even went to the vet. And she dresses him in a gold collar and silk pajamas, and she's named him Fabio. Yeah, Fabio. But I don't call him Fabio. I call him Houdini, because the 2 wags of his tail, he's made my sex life completely disappear. Now sex is just a grand illusion, and without the handcuffs. You know how hard it is to perform when there's 4 legs, a panting wet tongue, and the smell of bad breath in your bed? And a dog?
Oh, hello.
And this dog is completely taken over our bedroom. He lays on my side of the bed, on my pillow, snoring and farting. And what do you think I've been doing for the last 30 years? And I'm starting to wonder who the man of the house is now. I'm afraid to kick him out of the bed. I may get bitten, scratched, and growled at by my wife.
Hey.
And now she says she wants his puppies. But I fixed them. And she feeds the dog a special diet. She feeds him the science diet. Me, she feeds the science fiction diet. She serves me canned spaghetti and meatballs. All I know, the more canned food she serves me, the more time I spend in the can. And the dog just had his physical. His cholesterol is 37 points below mine. He's not walking around with pre-diabetes. But I guess the good news is we both tested negative for fleas. My wife recently said, "Bruce, let's go to the store. I got to get some wool." I say, "Why? Somebody having a baby?" She usually knits a blanket. He said, "No, I'm knitting a sweater for the dog." I said, "Knitting a sweater for the dog? I have to buy off the rack at Kohl's, and you're knitting a special sweater here?" She says, "Well, he's a designer dog." And now we only go to pet-friendly restaurants. We were at a restaurant the other day. My wife brings the waiter over. She said, "My husband and I will have a burger, the deluxe, $7.95. We're going to split that." She said, "Bring the special menu over for Fabio." She said, "Fabio will have the salmon platter, $29.95. I said, "What does he need that platter for?" She said, "Well, it's good for his coat." I said, "He doesn't need a coat. You need a sweater." And pet owners are crazy. We just got invited to a bark mitzvah.
Hello.
The coming of age of
Hello.
a dog. I had to listen to some guy recite for 20 minutes something called an Arf Torah. I told my wife, I can handle that, but I'm not touching a thing if this affair is catered by Petco. And I mentioned before that my wife does all the shopping in the family. And so she sent me out recently to buy some organic kale. But I never bought that stuff before. So I'm in the produce section. I asked the guy, "How can I tell which is organic?" He said, "If they're half the size and twice the price, they're organic." I said, I think I drive one of those. It's called a Prius. But, my wife, thinks everybody in the house is a food critic. She'll spend an hour shopping, an hour cooking, an hour surfing the net for a recipe. And in 30 seconds, my son will say, "You're cooking that shitty chicken again?" And my wife tries to run her kitchen like a 5-star restaurant, which makes total sense because every time she cooks, I have reservations. Thank you very much. I think that's my time.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't even know how much time I
Yeah.
did.
Whatever your time is your time tonight.
Okay. How much
Lucky
time did
break
I
for
do anyway?
everybody.
6 minutes, 7 minutes? I don't even know.
You did 6 minutes and 10 seconds.
Okay. Is that enough? Or can you handle more?
No, that's plenty.
Okay.
And I didn't mean that in a bad way. I knew somebody was going to respond.
That's
Just-
okay.
Bruce, your presence here every week is very valuable.
Okay.
Valuable.
My presence is your presence, right?
That's right.
Right.
Your presence is my present. And I'm looking forward to. Excuse me. I live a mile above sea level and I don't breathe terribly deeply, so I yawn a lot. It's not because I'm tired or sleepy or bored or anything like that.
No, you're hypoxic. That's much better. Yeah. Sorry.
I don't know what
I'd rather you
hypoxic.
were bored.
That's the stuff you use to stick things together.
No, that's epoxy, you idiot. Hypoxy is how you are after you smell a bunch of
Right.
epoxy.
I'm getting a little hypoxy right now.
Are you really?
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix had that song, Foxy Lady, right?
Yeah, Poxy Lady.
Right.
That was the favorite song of everyone in London in the 18th century.
That song really stuck around.
Did it? It was originally recorded by some pasty-faced motherfucker. Anyway, you know what? I'm just making stupid puns now because why? We have a couple more comedians. I don't know if Chuck saw what I said in the chat, and very good news that is the game over?
No, 6 inning.
No, 6 inning.
9-3.
We can do.
Are you on the
chat.
New York? Are you on the New York or the Boston side of Connecticut, Danny?
I'm like smack dab between both of them. So we got rivalries going all the way, but I'm originally from LA, so it's Dodgers. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and the Dodgers are the best team in all of the series right now. Although they may end up not making the
Atlanta's kicking.
making the thing, but they're a tremendous team. You know, I hadn't been watching baseball for a long time. I watched a little bit this year, and these guys have gotten so incredibly good. The athleticism of the baseball players now is just ridiculous. They brought Max Scherzer in to close out the ALDS, and I was just watching him pitch. I swear to God, he pitched a ball that curved twice in that inning. It went down like this and then up like this. I don't know. I can't believe it. Anyway,
tracking that.
this is not comedy.
That's
unless
sort
you
of the
push-
theme of the show.
Ooh.
Wow, Chuck. That's insulting to me, but it's kind of more insulting to everybody else that's been on the show. I already know I'm not funny. All right, come on. You know what, Chip?
Yep.
You're up, man.
I'm up.
Knock 'em dead, sweetie.
All right. So you said no real time limit.
Well, within
So
reason.
I just want to
within reason.
I want to thank Mike and Chuck and all the people at Netflix. If I can get my Netflix
The
special.
look of love. I'm the band playing you off. Da-da, ka-ba, ba-ba, ba-ba.
So,
Day after day,
where
the
to
fool on the
begin?
hill. All right, go ahead.
Feelings.
Nothing more, but one of the things I like about doing this, Mike, is I learn so much new stuff, like from Danny. I had no idea that that people whose haunted houses, suffered from moving furniture. It was gay ghosts. I had no idea. That's what it
Yeah.
was.
That was what that was.
Yeah. And I didn't realize too that Spanish was a feminist language, because in Spanish, no means no. I get that now. I understand.
Women flocked there from all over the world.
That's right. Speaking of feminism, I don't know if you saw this article. The big Spanish literary award was given to this writer, Carmen Morella, who was apparently really big in Spain for writing these, I guess you would call them almost like Harlequin novels, these female-friendly novels. And so when they awarded the prize, it turns out that it's a nom de plume of 3 guys. So it's like I had no idea that there was such a thing as literary drag. I didn't know that you could. Yeah, but I guess that's the way the world is today.
It won't be around for long.
Won't be around for
We're
long.
melding into one massive gender, I think.
One thing. So I felt I felt a little bad for Chuck this week, because I understand that Reno has outlawed whips in town, because apparently the crack have been mistaken for gunfire. So all the dominatrix are moving outside the city. Just riffing on news of the weird this week. I saw where a teacher in Pennsylvania, I think, got arrested because she used to award kids, allow them to grab candy out of her prize box, and one of the kids accidentally got an edible. So remember that. Chuck, as a professor and a teacher, don't mix your stash with the prizes you give to your students.
Right.
It just doesn't work.
I got, look at me, I got gummy. Oh my God.
The rest of the day in class, the kid's like, I catch my hand. I catch my hand.
Look, I have 8 fingers.
Other item news of the weird in Australia. Australia has rolled out this new healthcare for koala bears. They're apparently vaccinating them against chlamydia, which
Yes,
you saw that?
I heard about that years ago.
Yeah, so they're doing it again. Apparently, the kangaroos are really pissed that they're not doing anything about herpes for them. So I don't know. I am sort of feeling kind of rusty. Like I did say, I did this whole weekend working for the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee's 60th anniversary of civil rights.
Wow.
And so
How many degrees do they have now?
Oh man, it's a man. Well, this is probably going to be the last one, because most of those folks are in their 80s. I don't think they're going to make it around to the 70th anniversary. So I've been feeling really, Black Power, So I'll try to go easy on you white folk today.
Thank you.
I know how you suffered. I know.
Thanks, man. And remember, I said man.
That's what I like about Mike. He's down with the struggle. He's right in there. He's a white ally. That's what I call it.
That's right. That's
white
right.
ally. But what's been going on with me lately? I have, it's dealing with the elderly people, and Colin Powell died. I've been thinking about death and stuff. And, I mean, some of you know that I lost my mother and my sister in 2018 to cancer, and not too long ago, recently, I had a friend who passed away, a Canadian. A friend of mine who's been living in DC for 30 years. And it was interesting because after his death, his family got into an argument over what to do with his ashes. Because, he's from Canada, but he's been living in the United States for 30 years. The Canadian family wanted the ashes to come back to Canada, and American family wanted to stay here. And it's weird, this thing with ashes. I kept thinking, like, somebody should address this problem. We should have I don't know, glass or see-through urns. That way you could divvy up the ashes. You know,
Yeah.
everybody can get a little bit of their loved ones.
Sure.
You know, and then you could start to layer them. You know, you could put grandma and grandpa, and then Uncle Jed and stuff. You maybe colored separators. You know, make it festive. You know, that's
I
what
think
I'm
they
thinking.
do that in northeastern Arizona
Do they
already. Yeah, they sell them at filling stations. I've seen them.
Of course they would. That way, when people come over, you know, they see that dark, you know, really dark black layer. You know, they're like, "Oh, looks like somebody must have had an African American in the family." If you're laughing at that, you're racist. We burn just the same color as everyone else.
I'm laughing because some of those layers are pink and green, and I've got no idea where that's supposed to come from.
Yeah, if we did it in our family, we'd put Uncle George on top. You know, Uncle George, the alcoholic. That way we could make it into a candle. Just light it up, you know.
Oh man.
That is messed up, my friend.
No, that's Chip,
messed
buddy.
up.
That's Chip.
Yeah, I'm a racist. Great. You know, you just made me proud to be called a racist by Chipp Jones.
I didn't say he was Jewish. I said he was alcoholic. Come on.
Yeah, I know. I realized that. You said he could be made into a candle. That was the operative phrase. It wasn't the alcohol.
So, but I don't know. I think that's probably about my time. I thank you guys for listening and playing along.
Yay.
This
That
mic
was-
is always fun to come to.
That
Good to
was
see you back in
awesome.
town, Chip.
That was
Chip.
awesome. Yeah, maybe you had a really, really obese relative and you could make it into another kind of candle. Tallow.
Got to hold all the ashes together.
Candle in the
You
wind.
could open a candle shop. Human Candles by Chipp Jones. All right. So that was very nice. Chuck, why don't we just do our quick announcements and then go on? Since Danny's here for the first time.
Right. Let me see
At
if the
least we
guys
can
in
at least
graphics have
inform
anything.
Sorry that you're in Connecticut. I lived in Portland, Maine for 6 years.
Yeah, cool program.
And now I live in Denver, where I help to write every year a full-length musical review that has a large cast and has 40 songs in it, all of which are licensed from ASCAP and BMI. So every song in the show is a really famous song. Most of them are great songs. I think some of them stink, but most of them are great songs. And they either come from musicals or they're pop songs that were very successful. And Magic Moments is the name of the organization that puts on these shows. And the special thing about the show, in every sense of the term special, is that they have 200 people in the show, of whom 50 to 60 every year have some kind of special need, from barely noticeable to severely impacted. And somehow and this is the magic part of it, the directors and the staff always find really meaningful ways to use the people with the special needs in the show. So they take an active role in the show. And then Chuck, so if you come this way, let me just say this much. If you come this way and you're in Denver, check it out and watch one of the shows. If you're not, go to the website, magicmomentsinc.org, donate some money so that it makes it easier for us to put these shows on. Like everybody else, we were hit hard during the pandemic. So Chuck, your thing.
It's a great show, Mike. I really enjoyed when you invited me, and it's a fantastic cause. So I hope people like to be informed. We also donate 10% of ticket sales and private event fees to Elevating Connections and their programs for youth separated from their siblings by foster care. And the only update this week is that we're working on a sort of a permanent partnership with the Community College of Denver, the theater department there, where I teach comedy. We've been attending some Elevating Connections events. I'll go again on Friday to a workshop, and the college sends swag, and we're working on a scholarship. So the plan will be they'll donate 50% of my donation to a scholarship for the youth. So we're working on career exploration and whatnot, and all that just started from our little comedy shows, Mike. On Sunday nights, the executive director used to come to our comedy show and talk about the needs of youth in foster care.
Well, surely there can't be that much money you're donating, because the private events, how much could they bring in?
Thank you, Mike. I charge an awful lot for private events. So we were
then you are able to
actually
generate a lot of income.
during the pandemic. We were Elevating Connections top corporate donor, and as I understand it, there's even a line item for our donations. So I'm surprised that it adds up to enough, and it certainly just brings us joy to what we do. And I know a lot of the comedians like to hear the updates on how that just keeps advancing. So a good cause. And if you listen to us on Spotify, it's because we post shows on Anchor, or we used to, and I swear to God I will. I'll catch up on that one day. Follow our link tree if you would, please, and subscribe to our YouTube channel where we're live currently. And we had prizes today, Mike, and we'll continue the prizes for
Prizes be.
Jennifer, our customer, sent a note after I sent the refund that she was having technical difficulties and wanted to donate, so I certainly will donate to Elevating Connections.
Oh, that's sweet. That's very nice of her.
That's what they call it now when someone leaves.
She might be back. No, like we don't want to. Obviously, I don't want to take somebody's ticket money if we didn't think they were having a good time. And then she ended up having technical difficulties, and I'm so glad to, like we're good customer service people.
Yeah, I had a live show last week where somebody had a technical difficulty when they hit me with a tomato.
Yeah. Right.
That should be your comedy name, Alan. Technical difficulties.
Right. I hope they zoomed in on you. So I thought a little bit of peace and quiet and New England tranquility it would be a gift for all of our VIPs. So
see my house from there.
Right.
That looks like my house.
Right. So who knew?
Over there.
Like Poketapog.
Yeah, we got you. I guess you get to stay at Danny's, everybody.
Oh my God.
Is it Denny's or Danny's?
No, Danny's, and his mother has.
I don't care.
His mother has a nice trailer.
You have ghosts in your house?
Oh fuck.
Speaking of ghosts in your house, you also VIPs will get this. It's the original Amityville Horror House. So, which I guess is also near you, Danny.
Amityville Horror House?
This is popular. All month long, we're giving away pumpkin cannons to every one of our VIPs. Yeah. You get your own virtual pumpkin cannon.
I want a VIP right now.
And this has been a gift for since the fall, I believe.
I think it is, yes.
Enjoy your own washboard with my collection of twinks from the Abercrombie and Fitch catalog.
All of 2019, right?
I think this one's more circa 2016. Remember when we were doing gel and the little flip up?
You guys ever get cold standing out there with their shirts off like that?
No. No, they're virtually hot. You're right. And a little pumpkin pie,
Chuck rubs them down and keeps them warm.
Some salad. That's I rub them, but I don't know if it's about down. And what goes good with pumpkin pie? But good old Chef Scapone and our Colorado Comedy Show's virtual events team.
Absolutely
nothing. Wicked awesome salad.
Salad.
Those of you watching on the YouTube, we've got prizes for you as well. You get to stay here.
Colorado Insanity
also near Danny's house.
Is that the outlook from The Shining?
I believe this one's in Pennsylvania. And then this fella is he's now doing push-ups for you. Or as we like to say, he's presenting. And got you this sweet make your own pumpkin pie. Brought to you by the Colorado Comedy Show's virtual events team, and of course you get a delicious salad.
Pumpkin salad.
Tune in next week. We're gonna do the round robin then, so we'll do most unusual ice cream cakes. If you'll come back and join us next week, that will be the topic.
Yeah, that'll be great. I'll have more time to come up with guffaw-inducing.
Yes.
You know, I won't have to settle for the Burning Cross ice cream
Do you
cake.
need a guff fill
Sold
up?
only below the Mason-Dixon line, served flambe. I won't have to settle for that next week.
Right, Mike. One charity we forgot to mention. I've been working with the Walk for Gout this week.
Yeah, it's not a long walk, I hear.
No, not a long walk. In fact, the more money you raise, the less you walk. So,
if you raise the most money, you get to just sit in a queen hand chair.
Pay someone else to walk.
right, and if I may, I'm going to steal a minute of your time, Mike. Mostly because I run the Zoom and can pick who we spotlight. Good to see everybody, and thanks for the funny comedy, Chip. You should know that this. I'm learning all about how to be more equitable and inclusive in my teaching. We're participating at the Community College of Denver. We're participating in one of the world's most exclusive trainings on inclusion. It comes from the University of Southern California, their Center for Urban Education. And when it comes to equity training, got to tell you, it's unequaled. Now, I noticed, Chip, you mentioned the Facebook, which is what I like. Folks are posting on Facebook today, rest in peace for Colin Powell. And I'm sorry about Colin Powell. I haven't had a chance to post about it yet. And thank God my friends are doing that. What I noticed for the past few years on Facebook is that everyone has become their own press office. People die, and then for the next 24 hours on Facebook, it's like everyone releases their official statement about the death of that celebrity. And I have faith in what they call God, and he's a funny kind of creature, and I believe God believes in thank you notes. And that one of the requirements when you get to heaven is that you've got to write a thank you note to each of the people who wished you to rest in peace. So I can just picture Colin Powell up there right now, just starting his thank you notes, going, thank you, Tommy, for posting on Facebook that I shall rest in peace. I promise to rest in peace as soon as I finish all these thank you cards.
Can't he just like it?
Right. Nope. I think he's got to, it's God, and God wants him to respond to each.
He wants an actual thank you note.
One.
Is that too much to ask, Chip?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he does have eternity, so I guess,
is that too much of a reparation for him to provide?
I think he's waiting for the black smiley face. That's what he's waiting for.
Wow. Now, what I'd like to see, imagine Facebook in the era of the town crier. Like, rather than having a town crier, what if everyone was doing what they do on Facebook? Just, instead of posting on Facebook, maybe they just wander down to the end of their driveway and shout out an announcement to all the neighbors. Like, Mindy, my wife is the most loving woman I've ever met.
Yeah.
And then another neighbor comes down and they're like, I've posted this fine watercolor of tonight's dinner for love card. And then, the other guy just bragging about his wife. Like, some people just go on and on. They're like, I get that while this post is public for us, you're really just trying to get out of trouble with your wife, like, Mindy is so creative and she puts up with me. And then I'd like to hear a heckler from down the street yelling, and then why are you buggering the McKinley boy?
Oh. I like the family next door to me that come down and act out their memes. That's what I like.
That would be good. I like
You got to come down and do your Clint
Go
Eastwood
down to the end of
impression.
go down to the end of the driveway and say, Colin Powell just died. I have no words.
Thank you to more zing, to both Chip and Mike for adding more zing to my act. I'll be bringing those punchlines back next week at the Open Mic Comedy Show.
Well, put them at the front end. You don't want to wait all the way to the end for a laugh.
Right.
Oh man.
Wow. That's Mike, the self-esteemer.
That's right.
Well, I guess that's, we'll put the camera back on you. It's your show. That was my 2 minutes.
Can we clap for you though, Chuck? Can we clap for whatever?
At the end.
No, yeah, you can clap.
That voice coming from it. Oh, that's the comedy
Hey,
guy.
he tries so hard. I think he deserves a round of
That's right.
applause. Chuck Roy, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh.
Chuck Roy, ladies and gentlemen. He will be giving you a virtual half-gallon of maple syrup just for being at the show tonight. And maybe a glass of the whiskey.
Right.
So
We'll be
Why
very-
just a half gallon? Why not a full gallon? What's
Hey, buddy.
well, have you ever tried to make maple syrup? Do you know how many trees it takes just to make a half gallon? Many.
Yeah.
A lot of
Many?
trees. Do you ever
Our
wonder why it
budget, our
costs
virtu-
$50 a half gallon?
What do you think our budget is for all of our virtual prizes? Like virtually unlimited?
Yeah. Are you kidding me? You know what it costs to get salad every week for no matter we can't get
So
stop coming up and giving away
Are you telling me
salad.
that Aunt Jemima is
salad,
wealthy?
especially
Are you
when
Those
it's
telling me
are
Aunt Jemima is
organic.
wealthy?
Those are organic greens.
Yeah, those are red onions.
That's why
in
it's so
there.
small, the salad.
Mrs. Butterworth's a billionaire? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
No, Mrs. Butterworth is a glass bottle.
And Mrs. Butterworth is no more. R.I.P. Didn't you see it on Facebook? Come on, man.
Yeah, we saw it. I didn't see it, but I heard it. I didn't see it on Facebook because I signed off of Facebook because
You
I didn't
did.
need to know one. I didn't need to know what one more semi-literate guy from fucking Idaho thinks of the stolen election. Because he doesn't understand that if one guy gets more votes than the other guy, he wins.
What? Wait, that's how it works?
Yeah, that's how it works. The guy
Oh,
with the most votes wins.
oh.
You would
Yeah,
think
well,
that wouldn't be a
not like golf.
That's not actually true.
Actually, I don't think that's how it works.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
Right. Give Mike time. He's still waiting to graduate from electoral college.
That's right. Hillary learned that hard lesson.
It's not necessarily the most votes at the box office. It's the most electoral college votes,
There we go. All
which he
right.
got.
That's true.
So he won.
That is true.
Also
man.
happened to get 10 million more votes than the other guy.
You bangish, you betcha.
Yeah. I hardly knew her. Anyway. Yes. Okay. Well, our final act for the evening is
You got Paula, and did Danny drop in?
Danny dropped in, but she sent me a message saying
Gotcha.
it was a direct message, so I don't know if I can reveal it. But we did
No
not-
need.
um,
Gotcha.
No, it's a private message, and let me just say, Danny, I won't say what, but I really hope it clears up.
Right.
Our next performer.
Too
Can
bad
we?
she's not a koala. She could have gotten the vaccination.
Let's.
She may not be a koala, but she could be a koala. You know, toot toot.
Hey, you know,
around-
here's
she
a
may be hanging
throwback.
around a little too close to the koalas. If you get my drift.
We do
Mike
have
just,
we have a nice viewer on YouTube commenting, so want to say hello to Jeffrey Burden, who'll be joining us
Oh,
next
Jeffrey
week.
Burden. Yeah.
Mike just snuck by another dame from a crime detective novel.
Yep.
Hardly knew her. I like that.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. So somehow or another, I managed to disconnect my external hard drive. My external hard drive suddenly I have erectile hard drive dysfunction.
Oh my God! I bet you have a floppy disk.
I do. I have a
Right at home, dude.
Not only is it floppy, but disc is misspelled. Anyway, here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring our next performer on that I was halfway through the introduction for. I never do that either. I never stop in the middle of an introduction.
No,
no, that's not our thing at all. But anyway, I feel like going way down that road.
Right.
But I'm not going to. You know why? Because she's been very patient. She's waited to perform this evening.
Hey, Mike, what does make an outstanding introduction for you?
Well, as with everything else, brevity. Brevity is the soul of wit. And being able to just say, hey, this is our next performer, please welcome her. That's the way that you do it.
Right. So, a lot of people watch to get advice from you. What does brevity do for an introduction?
Well, it shortens it, for one thing. A lot of people, the funny thing is, a lot of people think that when I say that, I'm saying bravery is the soul of wit.
Right.
And I'm not that courageous of a guy. I tell that to my wife all the time because she's scared of a lot of stuff, but she still does a lot in the world. So I think she's very brave. I'm not very brave. I'm just not afraid of very many things. So like, for instance, I'm not afraid ever to introduce one of the acts on the show. And
we know that about you. And it's something we know you really like to do is get right to the introduction, especially when it's the last one of the show.
Because otherwise they feel like, what have I been doing? What am I doing with my life? I'm sitting here listening to people just go on and on and on and on instead of bringing me on stage. So I'm not that guy. I'm not the guy that's going to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and say the name of our next act, and she'll come on and perform, and everybody's going to love her. So please, everyone, welcome, if you will, Paula Maddox.
Yay!
Oh, and she's on the pole.
She got a pole with her.
Sorry, I was working on my pole performance during the brevities. Sorry. Yeah. It gets pent up, women get pent up too, y'all. It's not just the men that get a little backed up.
Okay, I got you.
But thank you for that great, many-faceted, folded, whatever the fuck that was, introduction. And thank you, Chuck, for making me laugh, because that was fucking awesome. Yeah. I'm sorry. I like to see you get fucked with Mike.
Could you just say that again? Because Chuck doesn't hear that very often. So if you could just say, Chuck, that was really funny. That was awesome. Chuck, thanks for making me laugh. Anything like that, he would really appreciate it.
I don't think I have to, because he just signed me up for this group, Fuck with Mike group. Oh, wait, I wasn't supposed to talk about it.
Oh, geez.
The whole thing, you asked for it, man. You kept fucking with him.
Sorry.
Yeah. He told you he was in control. We all heard that, right?
Yeah, okay. Just do your act.
I'm trying. Really, I'm trying. I don't know which way the wind's blowing here.
Which way? We're in great shape. We are in great shape.
Because, it's in my DNA to be able to tolerate a white man. So you can't fuck with me. I mean, I could fake like you're fucking with me, but you're not fucking with me.
That's okay. I'm not fucking with you.
So I just blew my party favor. Surprise, y'all. I'm Native American. I don't know if all y'all know that, but surprise. Yeah.
Well, we don't all know it. Danny's here for the first time tonight, so.
That's why I'm saying it, Mike.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I feel so stupid now.
He's slow to pick up on.
I'm just trying to get on a roll, and you're going to make me get sick. Don't people get sick if they can't release properly? Okay. So yeah, I'm Paula. I'm Native. Surprise! I'm what's called an incognito engine. I can hide in plain sight. Pretty fucking handy. Can I tell y'all? Phew. Especially nowadays, man. It's so hot out on the street. Even the fucking Asians are getting thumped on, man. It's just not safe. It's not safe if they're getting it, I'm Hoopa, Northern California engine. And thank God we were in Northern California, man. Phew. Because by the time the soldiers got to us, they'd fucked themselves up with PTSD, from all the killing and the murdering and the raping, And you have to say killing and murdering because, let's be honest, they were going for the gold back then. It's good times. Luckily, they changed their strategy, though, and it's kind of how I got my white daddy. So you gotta be, get your gravy wherever you can get it. Yeah. But since my daddy's white, that means my mom's the native one, and that's kind of scary. They're fierce. They're so fucking fierce, y'all. I probably have no idea. People wonder what, to compare it to something. And I say, well, why don't you put all the moms together and then piss it off? Yeah, it's kind of how the native moms are. And that's a pro and a con, I mean, it's really good to have someone that fierce on your side, but it can be dangerous because she warned you not to fuck up. Like,
Yeah.
she took the time to tell you what not to do. So when you made a mistake, it was, anyways, I survived. I'm better for it. Right. Yeah. Come to find out, my dad actually does have some native in him, but we don't like to talk about it too much because come to find out it was from the Trail of Tears. It's sad. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Very.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Part of life, right? But it makes us resilient. I'm really good at assimilating, that's handy. Helps with other things.
Yeah.
There's transgenerational trauma, there's good ones though. Like I said, I'm very good at assimilating. And I'm kind of good at scaring the white neighbors. Yeah. Back in the beginning of the pandemic, our elders got together and we couldn't meet in person to do medicine. They wanted to, do it wirelessly. And it was weird. They're like, yeah, send the message white and wide. And I'm like, we're including the white people. And that scared me. I'm like, oh my God, is it that bad that we have to get everybody on board? He's like, yeah, call in the Cherokees. I was like, okay, call in the Cherokees. Good time. In my family, we are given Indian names. One of three sisters. My older sister's name is Daytime Moon, which I took to mean like the sun, and she was hot and scolded everybody around her. So that was true, like how they figure that out, And then my younger sister, her name is Butterfly. That's pretty, nice to look at. But fragile as a motherfucker, can I just tell you, like that was right too. It's weird, And me being the middle child, my name is Spiked Buck. Yeah, I guess I was supposed to be a boy. I don't know. Been confused for a long time. Gotta tell you. And I grew up kind of a tomboy, so that really confused me. But I married my husband and messed my life up the normal way because my generation, we didn't branch out. There was no transgenderedness, No offense to anybody, but I knew I wasn't a bull dyke, I just knew that. So, but a couple years ago, I was going through the forest at night, and this is a true story. I was coming around a corner and there was a deer, and I broke in time when I didn't hit it, but its brother was tailgating, and I spiked that butt. I leveled up. Yeah. It's pretty cool, man. Like my cousin, Two Dogs Fucking, he can't do that. It wouldn't be appropriate for him to do his name. So it's kind of cool. Yeah. A few months back, my mom jokes with me. She likes to say, I just like eating deer meat when I was pregnant with you, honey. Well, why didn't you say something, huh? So it wouldn't be funny that way. Okay. Far be it for me to, stop you and your funners, Mom. But, that's a native mom for you, keeps you on your toes. It's all good. I had a mother-in-law for quite a bit of time. And she came from Scotland. So I figured, she'd have fancy manners because she came from Scotland, But no, she came from where the colonizers came from. So it's, I was naive. I was very smart. But the very first Thanksgiving that I invited her to our family Thanksgiving, the night before, she called me thinking that I was the other daughter-in-law, the white daughter-in-law.
Oh.
And she proceeded to complain about the food and the culture and how her son had married this, not savage, she didn't say that, but that was her intention. And as she's talking to me, my mom's reading my face and she's like, what's going on? And I looked at her and I'm like, I thought you were exaggerating about the way people act, but it's happening to me, because we exaggerate. It's just a native thing, And my mom's like, oh my God, I can't believe she just fucking did that. But she showed up the next day and she brought money with her because she thinks that's the way we wash stuff off, and it isn't. But long story short, we survived it. And I told her, I really only invited you because that's like the literal reason for the season. I didn't make that rule. You guys made that rule, but it's all good. Anyways, y'all stay safe. Have a good night, and thanks for the time.
Well,
Thank you.
I love that. I only invited you because that's the literal reason for the event.
Yeah, good times.
Oh, well, did he leave already, Alan? Because he left a message that he had to go. Yeah. So anyway, that was basically the show. Should we even bother with a funny photo tonight? Could we go with that?
Yeah, it's a
Okay, let's
tradition.
do it then. Let's do that. This was a great. I mean, I thought this was going to be really weird because there were so few people, and then we ended up having. I ended up having a great time. I'm the only one that really matters. So it's crazy we don't get more people, isn't it?
That's the way we all feel.
Especially when
Mike's the
you-
only one that really matters.
Yeah. I'm just wiping some
adore
of
all
the
you guys.
food. Let's call it food off my mouth. The egg off my face. Anyway, okay, so is that the picture you want, Chuck?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody has to do this.
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
That looks stupid.
So
But
show's officially. Are you going to take off straight away, Paula? Got to go.
bye, YouTube.
Yeah, probably. It's